Most people spend the last few minutes of their day rehearsing lack, fear, or regret. They toss and turn in bed counting debts instead of blessings. But I say to you, you do not go to sleep alone. You sleep beside the law. And the law does not sleep, it listens, it receives, it creates. Whatever word you drop into the fertile soil of the subconscious before slumber will take root and bloom by morning light. Sleep is not escape, it is creation in disguise. The thoughts you fall asleep with are the blueprints your angels use to build your tomorrow. I have known people who spoke poverty in daylight, but whispered wealth in the dark, and the night obeyed their whispered word. They awoke to miracles, promotions, inheritance, and surprise checks in the mail. Why? Because they learned to cast their net on the right side, before sleep. So I give you this simple truth every night. Before you close your eyes, speak the word of riches. Not just money in the bank, but riches of health, ideas, love, and favor. Say aloud, infinite substance now takes form in my life. I am rich, for God is my supply, and there is no limit to his bounty. Do not ask how it will come. The law does not need instruction. It needs obedience. Your part is to speak it in sleep. God's part is to deliver. Let no fear stay in the bed with you. Cast it out with gratitude. Give thanks in advance. Say, I am so grateful for the unexpected wealth flowing into my hands. I rest in divine order. I expect good news in the morning. Let your final thoughts be pictures of prosperity, not pictures of past mistakes. Do not go to sleep on debt, disease, or delay. Go to sleep on divine delivery. For the subconscious is a perfect servant. It creates while you rest, and it will deliver to you whatever you wrapped in faith before sleep. Speak wealth, dream wealth, expect wealth. Then wake up rich, for the night has obeyed your command. The mind of man is like a phonograph. It records every sound, every impression, and every affirmation laid upon it with feeling. But there is a chamber within the mind far more powerful than the conscious. It is the subconscious, the hidden scriptwriter of our tomorrows. And what the subconscious hears, it never forgets. It accepts without argument. It takes your word, your emotion, and your mental picture, and it reproduces it upon the screen of life with perfect accuracy. This is why the moments before sleep are the most sacred, because the conscious guard falls asleep, and the gate to the subconscious swings wide open. Man may spend his day affirming truth, speaking his word, visualizing his desire. But if he ends the day in worry, regret, or self-condemnation, he plants a seed of contradiction into the subconscious soil, and the subconscious, being no respecter of persons, will water the seed it was last given. It does not discriminate between what is good or bad, right or wrong. It only obeys. It is man's silent builder, and it always builds after the latest blueprint handed to it. Therefore, man must be exceedingly wise about what mental impression he goes to sleep upon. In the quiet twilight before slumber, the mind becomes impressible, like warm wax ready to receive the seal. It is here that miracles begin or misfortunes are rehearsed. Many lie in bed and replay scenes of loss, rejection, or failure, unknowingly impressing these very patterns upon their subconscious. They think sleep is a time of rest, but in truth it is a time of deep creation. The subconscious, unlike the conscious mind, does not sleep. It toils through the night, weaving the threads of whatever image or emotion was last handed to it. And in the morning, the harvest begins. A man may say, but I cannot control my thoughts at night. They come flooding in. That is not true. You are the master of your mind. You may have allowed it to run wild, but you can just as well call it into order. Begin by making it a sacred ritual that every night, before you lay your head upon the pillow, you choose your final thought as one chooses a garment before going to a banquet. Dress the mind in wealth, not worry. Wrap it in gratitude, not guilt. Imagine your desire fulfilled, your prayers answered, your storehouse overflowing. This is the garment that will attend your subconscious banquet through the night. The ancient scriptures teach that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The heart is the subconscious. That is where the deep beliefs lie, the thoughts that speak even when the lips are still. And it is through repetition and feeling that the heart is reached. The thoughts you think once are mere shadows, but the thoughts you affirm night after night become bricks in the mansion of your life. If you affirm, I am rich in every way, and do so with conviction before sleep, your subconscious will take it as a command and seek ways to fulfill it. It may speak to others on your behalf. It may bring a new opportunity, or cause you to wake up with an idea that changes your whole direction. The way is not yours to know. The law attends to the path. Your only duty is to guard the gate. If a man truly understood the power of his subconscious, he would guard his final thoughts as he guards his bank account. He would not let the thieves of doubt, lack, or fear break in and leave their images behind. He would sit quietly and speak his word aloud with reverence and clarity, as one who knows he speaks to the infinite. For indeed, the subconscious is the avenue through which the divine expresses. It is the silent partner of the Almighty in every act of manifestation. Never speak defeat before bed. Do not say, I can't afford that, or things never work out for me, and then expect to rise to riches. You have just written a contract your subconscious will sign. Instead, speak wealth as though it were already yours. Say, divine substance now flows through me. I am prosperous, favored, and supplied. Let that be the final sentence the subconscious hears before the veil of sleep descends. For the subconscious mind is like holy ground. It is the womb of creation, and whatever seed is planted there shall surely bear fruit. You may not see the evidence in the morning light, but rest assured, the law is at work. Day by day, it molds your world according to the word it has been given. If you wish to wake up rich, begin by falling asleep rich in thought. The inner world is the cause, the outer is only the effect. Speak the word at night, and the world will obey in the day. All wealth begins in the invisible. Man believes he must labor and toil to earn his daily bread, yet he forgets the source of all provision lies not in the external world, but in the realm of thought. The outer world is merely a shell, a reflection, a servant to the inner pattern that man holds in his mind. The law is simple: whatever a man consistently thinks and sees inwardly, he must walk into outwardly. For riches do not begin in a bank. They begin in consciousness. The world has taught man that riches are a matter of effort and calculation, of competition and chance. But this is not the spiritual method. The man who lives by divine law knows that his supply comes through ideas, and ideas are born through right thinking and divine imaging. The thoughts you habitually hold are magnets. They draw to you their exact likeness. If your thoughts are saturated with fear, doubt, or limitation, you will attract a world that reflects those conditions with perfect fidelity. But if your thoughts are rich, if they are aligned with the boundless wealth of the infinite, you will draw to yourself every channel, every opportunity, and every form of substance needed to fulfill your divine destiny. To think rightly is to think in harmony with truth. It is to see yourself not as a beggar of good but as the heir to unlimited supply. There is no virtue in poverty, no strength in struggle. Poverty is a false belief accepted by the mind and continually rehearsed until it appears as fact. But facts can be overturned by truth. Right thinking begins with the recognition that God is your instant and eternal supply. Not your job, not your clients, not your bank balance. All these are but instruments. The true source is unseen and unlimited. Therefore, when you affirm prosperity and envision abundance, you are not deluding yourself. You are aligning with the very substance of creation. Many speak the words of wealth but picture poverty. They say, I am rich, but they imagine bills, limitations, and closed doors. And the subconscious, being more obedient to image than language, will act on the dominant picture. This is why right thinking must be accompanied by divine imaging. You must not only declare the truth, you must see it, feel it, and live it inwardly as though it were already done. Picture yourself free, flourishing, and fully provided for. Picture yourself in possession of that which you seek, not vaguely, but vividly. Let every detail be real to your inner senses. The law does not respond to words alone, it responds to belief wrapped in emotion and held in vision. When a man becomes still and begins to see with the eye of faith, he enters the creative realm. He becomes a spiritual architect, and the universe moves to bring him the materials his vision requires. Doors swing open, resources appear. He does not need to strain or manipulate circumstances. Right thinking and divine imaging are the original builders, and they call forth supply and divine order. A man may say, but I am surrounded by lack. My reality denies my wealth. That is the very moment he must go within. For reality is not fixed, it is fluid. It responds to the authority of inner conviction. When you hold fast to the picture of abundance, even in the midst of apparent lack, you are practicing the highest form of spiritual discipline. You are proving your faith, and faith never goes unrewarded. The unseen must become seen, but only to the one who refuses to see with fear. There are those who imagine riches but feel undeserving of them. They speak their word but doubt their worth. This too is a hindrance, for the law responds to conviction. You must know that it is not your personal power that makes you worthy of wealth. It is your divine inheritance. As surely as the sun shines without effort, so too does substance flow to the one who knows their oneness with it. Say, I do not strive for riches, I align with them. I do not chase supply, I magnetize it. And then think only on those things which are true, lovely, abundant, and pure. For the mind that meditates on truth cannot dwell in poverty. The richest man is not the one who holds gold in his hand, but the one who holds gold in his mind. For that man will never be without it. Let your thoughts be polished like precious stones. Let your mental pictures shine with beauty and opulence. Refuse to entertain images of struggle. The law of abundance flows swiftly to the one whose inner house is adorned with the riches of divine imagination. Whatever you see within, you shall walk among. Think rightly, picture richly, and the world must answer. Night is not merely the end of a day, it is the beginning of revelation. The stillness of evening is not meant for escape, but for reception. When the body rests, the soul listens. When the world grows quiet, the higher realms draw near. The veil between seen and unseen is thinnest in the dark, For it is in darkness that spirit speaks most clearly to those who are attuned. Night is not absence, it is access. It is the gateway of spiritual downloads, where divine intelligence pours out wisdom, direction, healing, and inspiration to the one who makes themselves ready. Man often believes his most powerful hours are spent in activity, when he moves, works, and speaks. Yet it is in the stillness, in the hours between sunset and dawn, that the greatest transformation takes place. For in sleep, the conscious mind releases its grip. The reasoning, doubting, controlling self falls into silence, and in that silence, the subconscious opens wide to receive. It receives the word you have spoken, the image you have held, and most importantly, it receives the impressions of spirit. The sleep state is not unconsciousness. It is deep openness to the unseen realms. When properly prepared, the night becomes the spiritual workshop of the soul. Many waste the gift of night by closing their eyes in fear, resentment, or weariness. They carry into sleep the burdens of the day, not knowing that what they carry inward will shape their experience outward. But the wise one understands the sacredness of nighttime. They prepare for it as one prepares for sacred ceremony. They do not drift into slumber casually but intentionally. They cleanse their thoughts, forgive all, and speak the word of truth before laying down to rest. For they know that the divine speaks best to a mind made still and receptive. The downloads of spirit come in many forms. Sometimes they appear as dreams, symbols rich with instruction, offering glimpses of what is, what was, and what may come. Sometimes they descend in the form of healing, emotional pain dissolved overnight, bodily distress eased by morning. At other times, spiritual downloads come as quiet ideas, whispers that awaken with you at dawn, so soft they seem your own, and yet so wise they could only be of higher origin. You may wake with sudden knowing, or with a peace that cannot be explained. The wisdom of the infinite does not require language. It moves through impressions, visions, senses, and energy. The soul is always listening, it only needs silence to hear. In the busy noise of day, much is blocked. But at night, when the outer world is dimmed and no distractions remain, the soul receives its nourishment. There is no effort needed, only willingness. The one who trains their mind to listen before sleep, to speak the truth, to rest in expectation, shall find that the night itself becomes a sanctuary. In that holy sanctuary, angels move, healing flows, and answers are sound like seeds. If you have a question that eludes you, ask it before sleep. Do not beg. Simply declare, "Infinite intelligence reveals the answer to me clearly and gently." Then let it go and rest. Do not look for it. The answer may arrive in a dream, a morning hunch, or in the form of someone speaking to you the next day, without even knowing they've been used as a vessel. But come it shall. For the night carries your petition upward, and the dawn brings down your reply. The soul is never separated from its source, but it is most aligned when the mind is calm and the heart is open. Night allows this alignment naturally. It strips away distractions. It silences the ego. It permits the deeper mind to come forward and do its perfect work. What the conscious mind could not fix in waking hours, the subconscious corrects in the dream state. What the heart could not feel in the noise of daylight, it receives in the hush of moonlight. Make it a habit to prepare your inner sanctuary each night as you would prepare your body for rest. Speak a blessing over your sleep. Say, "This night, I receive divine instruction. I am open, I am receptive, and I am safe." Then imagine light filling your mind, your heart, and your body. See yourself wrapped in protection and truth. This sacred practice trains the subconscious to expect revelation and prepares the spirit to receive. Those who understand the laws of mind know that sleep is not a pause from creation. It is creation's quiet partner. In sleep, the invisible becomes visible. The higher faculties awaken. Spirit teaches, heals, restores, and guides. The gateway of night is not to be feared or ignored. It is to be welcomed as the entrance to the workshop of the soul. The one who honors the night shall rise with wisdom, abundance, and clarity, for what is received in spirit must manifest in form. Gratitude is the spiritual magnet that draws to man multiplied increase. It is the golden key that unlocks the storerooms of heaven and sends down supply in overflowing measure. Gratitude is not merely a virtue, it is a law. When one gives thanks for a thing, they acknowledge its reality. And what is acknowledged with feeling becomes fastened to the soul and must appear in the visible. To thank in advance is the highest form of faith, and faith, being the substance of things hoped for, produces miracles where reason would expect none. When the day is done and the body prepares for rest, the mind enters a sacred state of openness. That which you impress upon it in those final moments settles deep within the soil of the subconscious, and what is planted shall grow. Therefore, gratitude before sleep is not just a pleasant sentiment, it is spiritual strategy. It is the act of feeding the inner man with the food of abundance. It signals to the law that you are ready to receive, not from strain or struggle, but from alignment and praise. The soul that lays its head down in thankfulness, no matter how the day unfolded, has already won the day. For that soul has understood that appearances are but shadows and that truth is eternal. To give thanks not only for what has come but for what is yet unseen is to walk in dominion. It is to say, I trust the process, I trust the timing, I trust the unseen hand guiding my affairs. And when such trust is spoken from the heart, the universe cannot help but answer with increase. Many go to sleep rehearsing their sorrows, counting their worries, regretting what was said or done. And so they plant seeds of more sorrow, more worry, more regret. But the wise one knows better. The wise one says, no matter what appeared today, I will end it in praise. Even if the day brought lack, they give thanks that divine substance is on its way. Even if confusion seemed to reign, they give thanks that clarity is born of every challenge. Gratitude turns poison into medicine. It transforms delay into divine timing. It purifies the mind and soothes the spirit. To give thanks for what you do not yet see is to cast your net on the right side. It is to behave as if the manifestation were already yours, and such behavior is the evidence of faith. The mind, when steeped in gratitude, becomes magnetic. It draws to itself ideas, people, circumstances, and opportunities that resonate with abundance. Gratitude creates a frequency of reception. It tunes the soul into the station where divine answers are always being broadcast. Before sleep, take a moment to recount your good. Not only what went right, but what went wrong and served your growth. Say, I give thanks for the lessons of today. I give thanks for the strength I discovered. I give thanks for the invisible blessings that are now making their way to me. Let your final words be rich with appreciation. Speak them aloud or in silence, but speak them with sincerity. Do not fall asleep with a clenched heart. Do not allow bitterness or fear to be your pillow. Loosen your grip on the day. Bless it all, every conversation, every delay, every perceived mistake. For what you bless, you transform. What you curse, you bind to yourself. And what you thank, you multiply. It is a holy formula, as precise as any law of nature. The grateful heart never lacks. The thankful soul is always expanding. You may say, but I have nothing to be grateful for. Then you have everything to gain by beginning. Give thanks for your breath, for your bed, for the stars above and the roof over your head. Give thanks for the power to think, to choose, to imagine. Give thanks that even now your situation is changing because you are changing the way you see it. Give thanks for divine favor, for open doors, for the unseen forces working in your favor. Speak it as if it were already so, and soon it will be. What you do before sleep determines what life does while you sleep. If you fall asleep in gratitude, you give the subconscious the highest and purest instruction. Multiply this. And so it does. It takes your thanks and turns it into tangible blessings. You may rise in the morning to find yourself lighter, freer, or unexpectedly favored. That is not chance. It is the harvest of the seed you sowed in gratitude. Let no night pass without a word of thanks. For he who closes his eyes with praise opens his day with power. Gratitude is your signature upon the spiritual contract of abundance. Sign it faithfully, and you shall never lack. There is a word which governs every man's world. It is not the word spoken only in daylight, but the word whispered within before sleep. The word that enters the subconscious in the sacred twilight before slumber becomes the silent law by which the day unfolds. For sleep is not a departure from creation, but a deeper level of it. The soul does not rest, it builds. And it builds using the blueprint last handed to it, the word. The subconscious is a perfect worker. It takes no instruction other than that which is impressed upon it with feeling. The conscious mind may forget what was spoken, but the subconscious never forgets. It records all, stores all, and brings forth in time whatever was accepted as true. Therefore, the word you speak before sleep is like a royal decree. It is received without question, obeyed without delay, and returned to you in form. That form may be a person, an idea, a changed condition, or a shift in your own being. But it must come, for law cannot return void. Too many fall into sleep with the words of fear still ringing in their minds. They think, I don't know how I'll make it, or I am always behind, or nothing ever changes for me. These words are not harmless, they are commands. They are sown into the rich soil of the subconscious, and there they produce according to their kind. For the subconscious mind has no humor and no filter. It does not question. It does not reason, it only executes. The word once accepted becomes its law, but the one who understands the power of the spoken word is not careless with language, especially not before sleep. That one speaks deliberately. They choose their final words as a gardener selects seed, carefully, lovingly, intentionally. They say, I am abundant, or all things are working together for my good, or I am guided, protected, and prospered in every direction. These words are not mere affirmations, they are instructions to the subconscious. And the subconscious receives them like sacred orders. It begins to organize the unseen realm to fulfill the spoken decree. If you wish to change your life, begin by changing the word you rest upon. Not the words you speak in a moment of hope, but the words you surrender to when all distractions are gone and you are left alone with your spirit. That final thought, spoken or unspoken, is the seed of tomorrow. If it is a thought of gratitude, it bears peace. If it is a vision of wealth, it bears opportunity. If it is a word of love, it draws companions of the same frequency. Your sleep becomes the workshop of miracles, not because of your effort, but because of your alignment. The law of mind is precise. It does not waver. It does not delay without cause. If your waking life is filled with confusion, doubt, or repetition of unwanted patterns, examine the words you sleep upon. For it is not what a man wishes that governs his life. It is what he continually impresses upon the deeper self. Sleep is the most fertile time to plant those impressions. In sleep, resistance is low, the gate is open, and spirit is near. Let the word you choose be rich in faith. Let it be clear, not scattered. Say it slowly, with feeling, as if you already live in the state you speak of. Feel the wealth, the joy, the relief. Picture it if you must, but speak it as law. Say, I rest in divine wealth, I wake up rich in every sense. Say, everything I need is already on the way. Say, I receive the answers I seek while I sleep. These are not wishes, they are spiritual declarations, and the universe must obey them when spoken with conviction. What a man rests upon, he rises into. And the subconscious, working through the night, will mold his waking hours to match. It is not the hour of effort, but the hour of surrender that holds the most power. Surrender not to fear or fatigue, but to the word of truth. Then the morning shall greet you not with chaos, but with clarity, not with worry, but with wealth. To understand this law is to understand the rhythm of creation. Thought becomes word becomes law, law becomes form. If the thought is pure, the word is clean. If the word is clear, the form must match. So take heed of what word you speak before you sleep. For it shall rise before you like the morning sun, and walk beside you all your waking day. Speak only that which you desire to live in. Rest on the truth, and the truth shall become your life. The night is not the end, it is the invisible beginning. Every evening, you are handed the pen, and every dawn, you awaken to the script you wrote in silence. The subconscious does not ask what you want, it fulfills what you believe. And your belief is most clearly expressed in the word you sleep upon. If you would rise to riches, lay your head upon gratitude. Speak the word of wealth, picture your good, and enter the stillness with expectancy. Train your mind as a watchman at the gate. Allow only truth, only faith, only beauty to cross into the inner sanctuary. Bless the day, no matter what it brought, and declare peace over the night. Refuse to rehearse lack, and instead declare, I receive divine substance while I sleep. I rise in perfect supply. Let the final whisper of your day be a decree of abundance. Let the word you choose become your compass. For the law is always working, silent, faithful, and just. Speak rightly before you sleep, and the law shall work rightly in your favor. The one who honors the night with faith shall awaken wrapped in the wealth of answered prayers. The word never fails. The word creates, speak it and sleep. Then watch the morning unveil the riches of your decree.